Hi, my name is Pagan and I am the creator of Effect's Frat-Boy Behaviour hands-on female Australian streamers.
There have definitely been days where I'm just like, you know what? I've seen what people have gone through when they've, just existed, had the gall to exist in the space and make their voices heard. And I've seen how horrendous that can get for them. And it has made me be like, you know what? Maybe it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't streamed on Twitch in like a year, like at this point. I keep being like, I'm gonna stream again, I'm gonna stream again. But like it's so hard to be so switched on with an audience all of the time and to do that so consistently. And then to have that like fear that someone's gonna jump in and just start heckling and start trolling is just like it's not my idea of a good time at the moment in terms of like where I think my effort could be. So
Sometimes I do not manage. I had been going full steam ahead for maybe about 6 months, and then there were a couple of separate incidences that just kind of broke me down a little bit, and I just needed to step back and go touch some grass and focus on my mental and physical health a bit more than this. I needed to separate myself, but
So at first glance, live streams may make people happy and relieve stress. Indeed, there are emotional attachments to these public-facing figures. Viewers' identification with the creator, liking the creators combined with interactivity predicts the use of game-relating live streaming services. And live streams may even help viewers to cope during difficult periods in life, whether it's with mental health, job, school, everything. Besides social interaction, a sense of community, meeting new people, and that lack of external support in real life motivates viewers and audience members to engage on live streaming services or creators' platform.
because so many people, even that I didn't get to meet from my community, are just so happy that I exist in the online world for them. And that's what I wanted to begin with, was to just have a place for people that they could call home or have friends, something that I never really got to have growing up. So I think putting myself on the line is worth it for them.
Making people happy. I like giving my community a space they can come to on a bad day and just forget their problems for a little while.
Now that people have less time, the frequency of attacks has calmed down, but they are as aggressive with them as they became with the pandemic. Once they established that this was the new norm for trolling, the trolls and the people that were receiving the comments got used to it. The level of aggression is still very high, but the frequency is less.
the whole society and worldview was pretty bleak. People were so much more critical because they had so much more time to be on the internet and like pick you apart.
There are several ways, both constructive and destructive, to cope with these difficult periods caused by life events or by transitioning into adulthood. A destructive coping strategy such as avoidance may make things worse and in fact lead to exacerbation of the mental health issues. With especially the youth spending an increasing amount of time online on platforms such as Twitch and Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, we feel that it can be felt that it is important to investigate if these media are being used as coping mechanisms during difficult periods in life. And if this is the case, whether this is a constructive or destructive form of coping.
Younger and younger people are getting access to the internet and access to that wide world of comparisons, of expectations, of falsehoods. And for their little brains, they don't have the filters that we do to be like, okay, this isn't real. This is fake. This is an idealized version of someone. This is just the happy moments curated into a successful feed.
Having a support system is an invaluable asset that not everyone has access to. Sometimes though, it comes to these negative relationships due to irregular behaviors of these viewers or audience members and even sometimes streamers. And that comes back to having systems in place to support that.
Like some people online can just really screw you over.
It's why we turn to online communities, to find people like that. And unfortunately, you can fall into the wrong crowd sometimes.
Well, some people just lock up how the internet affects them in a box, and it is a destructive coping mechanism. But it isn't always easy for some to be open about what they experience online. But they don't forget about it. But some do bounce back from it. The more we vocalize the effect it has, the more acceptable it becomes to acknowledge that what is being said is awful.
If I were to give advice to anyone ever, the first thing I say is just find your people first. Like, if you want to go into streaming, great. Go and make some streamer friends that are in your exact demographic that you would hang out with if streaming wasn't a thing. Like, go and find those people and stay there, because that's safe. Like, it sounds horrible, but like, you've just got to go and find that little protective bubble first, because, or like as soon as possible, because that's gonna be the thing that will keep you safe from that, and it'll give you more confidence to say no to big opportunities that aren't good. Like, big opportunities that are good but come at that cost of like boundaries and that sort of stuff. Like, having those people there will save your mental health, will save you so much like time and stress, and honestly, it will also be better for your connections. It'll be better for your literally everything. Like, the best thing you can do is go and make some friends.
So I think being able to interact with your friends, and again, it comes back to having a space for yourself that isn't online, or isn't connected to where the vitriol is coming from, and having people you can turn to, having a support system is infinitely more valuable now than it ever has been, I think. With such a, online centric worldview and communities formed online, having people that you trust and can turn to, like-minded people, like even other creators in the same space that understand what you're going through, more important than ever.
Many women stream and work from home, and that is their safe place. So to bring negativity into the place that you live, it hangs around, and it isn't something that is talked about enough. The consequences of being a public-facing figure, and it is concerning when people who glorify it like you will be making money with a snap of a finger. People who want to derive it and boil it down to being lazy because it's not a 9 to 5, or you aren't working hard enough, or you're a slacker, or you just sit on your butt and play video games all day. It doesn't factor in how much work goes into being just turned on to entertain people, and doing that in a space you have to live in is not something people not in the space think about.
No resources, like professional resources for content creators. There's no HR department. Like, you are it. You are the HR department. You are everything. Like, what are you gonna do? You are your own PR company at the end of the day. A talent agent and like a company that you're with, at the end of the day, they pitch you to companies and they pitch you to brands. Yeah, it's not like being, in a company where the company can come out and protect you and this, that, and the other, and you get to like live an anonymous life if you make a mistake or anything like that. Like, you have to deal with all of it.
Yeah, I think there's more systems in place to support people going through those horrible things. Like, when abuse gets to the stage that you're having to move, when doxing occurs, the law only goes so far, and we've seen time and time again people get let down by the system, and horrible things happen as consequence.
And we would all like to be that person who says comments from strangers don't get to us. It's the people we value, we care about, their perspective, and don't let someone you wouldn't turn to for advice give you criticism.
I'm quite easily moved and susceptible to the peer pressure and also the comments of strangers, especially on things that I can't control, like my appearance, or being, one thing that I have gotten sometimes is still on like review stuff, being told that my opinion's wrong or that I'm incorrect, or questioning my intelligence. That does affect me, not so much being told that you're wrong, but being told that because you have a different opinion to me, you are somehow lesser than me in this like topic on a video game.
But it's always often that one comment outweighs the 10 good comments, and they linger. It ranges in severity in how it affects and impacts, more or less depending on the mood you are already in when you receive said comment.
Sometimes if it catches me like in a large group, like if it's quite a lot of instances, or if it catches me when other things are like happening in my life, it can be like super too much, and like it really affects me, and I won't open the platform and like stuff like that. Like it'll completely shut me out of that for a little while I sort of work through my emotions on that. A lot of the time now, I just like, I think I took 2 years off pretty much like during the pandemic. I sort of just stepped away from social media because it was a time where everyone on the internet was like super angry. So I didn't post as much photo stuff on Instagram stuff. I just did the live stuff, which was a little bit more like conversationally. I stepped away from that sort of stuff. And I think having the time and the space, I care less now. And I think now that I can lose followers and just be like, well, that sucks. And it used to really affect me before, but I think having that step back and that walk away from it and then, come back with a clearer head was really helpful. So like it doesn't affect me as much now. Like sometimes I'll get irrationally angry still, but like not as much as it used to. And it's probably also because I'm getting older and I'm like maturing, which is a never ending process. But
am I mentally strong enough to handle this on a long-term basis? Especially someone that does suffer from a few mental health issues already. It's a lot of hard work putting yourself out there and becoming so vulnerable that was I strong enough to continue, as well as if incidents happen, what do I do? And I came to the conclusion that if I was to continue, and if another incident was to happen, that's when I would actually go to the police just to have a paper trail. Not that they would ever be able to do anything, but just to have a paper trail, because at the end of the day, if it got so severe where they were threatening to leak like my address or my location, then something would have to be done. So my thought process was very much survival at that point in time, and also doing what was best not just for me but for my partner as well, who has also kept his privacy on the download because he's also a creator on Instagram, much bigger than I am in terms of like numbers, and he's always been very privacy smart. And I would feel absolutely awful if I was the reason why, for some reason, we were put into like a bad position. So it was just very, very survival thought process. I don't know if there was much else besides, is it worth it? Is what I get from this worth it?
And so having support systems outside of online communities, going outside and touching grass, seeking therapy, seeking help is honestly the best solution that we have at this point in time, because there is nothing to cover creators and what they experience, especially in the video game industry, especially in content creation, esports, online gaming. There is nothing.
And there you have it. There's the beginning of the effects that Frat-Boy behaviour has on women in the gaming industry. That's the topic I'm going to explore in my research project, and whether you would like to subscribe or not, you can base it on that.